Well guys, I guess this is part 3 of the Sportcraft cabin boat restoration or repair. Today is Monday. I worked on it a little bit yesterday, Sunday, which is usually my one day off a week where I have time like the whole day to work on stuff. I don't have anything else to do, but I didn't get a lot done because I had some friends come over and hung out with them and everything. But I was able to get today freed up, and so I've been out here working on the boat today and working on the transom mostly, and I actually have made some pretty good progress. Finally, it seemed like it was going to be kind of a bear for a little while when I first started kind of easing into it, but started going pretty well. So there's a big hunk of the transom right behind me here that I just pulled out, and so I'm gonna go ahead and switch the camera view around, and we'll show you what I've got here. So like I said, here's the big hunk of transom that I just pulled out. This is the port side, goes over here, came out, and this is the curve that goes underneath the splash well back here, this curve right there, and this is the top of the transom, and then here is the bottom hunk that I got out the other day. I think that was the piece that I pulled out. But anyways, this kind of shows you a good view of what the transom looked like new. So this is the piece that was bonded to the outer skin, and this was the worst piece of wood. There was only a little bit left up in these top corners that was still good. So you had this back layer of plywood, you got your layer of chop strand that they put in between here, and then this other piece of plywood. It looks a little thinner, but that may be just because I've ripped off a layer of the wood here. So it's probably the same thickness as this back one was. And then you have your inner skin here. So it's kind of nice that I get this whole piece out because I can kind of use it for a template for that curve around the bottom of the splash well. So, but it was, like I said, I thought it was going to be pretty hard to get out because this wood up here is pretty solid, and it didn't want to break apart too easy like some of the more rotten stuff did that was kind of towards the drain plug. It's kind of weird. It looked like the rot was mostly in the center here around the drain plug. I know you can't probably see it. Mostly around the drain plug there, going up, and then in the very corners it was kind of rotted on each side. You can see I still got to get some more crap out of that side over there. But then up in the main area of the corners, it was actually pretty solid still. So made it a little bit tougher to get out, but I got it out, and you can see what I found out is that the outer skin was not even bonded with fiberglass to the splash well there. Let me show you out here as well. So here's the view from the back of the boat, and like I said, you can see that it was not bonded, the outer skin was not bonded to this piece of the splash well, and I guess that was just so you could separate the cap, because it's not bonded up here either, besides the screws that go into the aluminum rub rail. Just seemed kind of weird, but I took the aluminum piece that was running along here off, and it actually made it a little bit easier because I could come out here and kind of get a screwdriver in between the outer skin and the piece of plywood there and kind of pry it up, and it popped right off pretty easily. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna go back with it. I guess I should just leave these two unbonded. That would be factory, but I'm not sure. And it also kind of changes my plan a little bit about how I was going to get the piece of wood up against here. I think I mentioned that I was going to try to cut some of the splash well out so I could come in from the inside of the boat, put the wood up against this outer skin on the inside, glue it in, and then tab around it with some 1708. But because it's not bonded here, I was going to cut it probably in here somewhere originally, but I may just cut it up here. I'm not sure. I don't want it to start delaminating later on if I cut it up in there, which is what I thought was going to happen. But I'll think about it and see how it goes, I guess. Still got to get this other eyelet off so that I can get the rest of this transom out. These are kind of rusted and corroded, so I just cut the bolts on the inside because the nuts were froze on there. I already got this side off, and I'll put new ones of those on eventually. And then the steering mechanism, I don't think you can see it, but that's where it bolts on right here, and those I'm gonna have to fix that glass on the outside here too, because that's pretty nasty looking. And the studs actually just pulled right through. They had a little bit of a nut left on them, but most of it was rusted off, and that's why it pulled through. But I'm gonna have to get a new mounting point for that. It's like a ball joint almost, for where the steering rod hooks to the hole here, and it can flex when you turn the steering and everything, and trim and tilt the motor. So I'm gonna have to find a new one of those and get it. But anyways, I'm pretty happy with the progress today. I'm gonna keep working. It's only about probably 12 o'clock or so, so I'll go ahead and keep working, and we'll see you in a minute, maybe for an update. The old transom is out of the boat. Yep, I got all of the old wood and most of the old fiberglass out of the boat and the transom, and all I gotta do now is grind down the inside of the outer skin, and then I think I'm gonna put at least one layer of some kind of fiberglass on the inside of the skin, because the transom skin is a little bit kind of uneven and a little bit thin in spots, so I want to make sure it's nice and solid and smooth and level before I put in my new wood for my transom. So I'm pretty happy with getting it out. It was quite a job, but it wasn't too bad, and I was able to get it done, so that's all that matters. And like I said, all I got to do now is just grind it down. So that's not going to be fun. I'm going to save that for another day when I have another full day, because I'm going to have to suit up in a Tyvek suit and get all my safety gear on and everything, because I'm already itching a little bit, and I was just using my cutoff wheel to cut, here and there on the transom to get it out. And this stuff gets everywhere, fiberglass, so you gotta be careful with it. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I got done here. Alright, first off, I just wanted to show you this other piece that I got out. That was the first piece that I showed you before, and this is from the other side, and it came out even more intact as far as thickness goes. So I'm going to be able to get exactly the thickness I need and be able to go back in there really good with it. So I'm happy about getting a piece out like that. And I noticed that it wasn't even glassed on the top here, so it was not sealed on the top, and I don't even think it was sealed that well on the sides. This is some old patch repair, I think, and that's actually the layer of chop strand that's in between there. So anyways, but I'll be able to tell how thick it is, and then I'll also have kind of a pattern there for the underneath the splash well part and the height and everything. So I'm going to save those two pieces, and let me show you back here. I vacuumed out the boat a little bit, try to get some of the crap out, but as you can see, there's the inside of the outer skin, and there's where it's separated from the lower and the upper cap there around the splash well in the back. But you can see what I'm talking about. It's especially on this side, kind of uneven glass and everything, and a little bit thin in a few spots. Like I said, I have not ground it down at all, so I will do that. Probably get a 40 grit flap disc on a grinder and go to town on it. And I've also got to clean up the edges there, so I can put in nice fresh tabbing. And I want to do a new drain plug there. Thinking about doing like a Gabbard drain style that actually screws in. Haven't decided quite for sure yet, but that's what I'm thinking of. And also going to clean up, the glass down here on the bottom, make sure it's nice and solid, so I can lay my stringers in. But that'll come in later. So I think I'm going to call it quits for today, and then the next time we'll be grinding the inside of the transom. Thanks for watching, guys. Today is Thursday, February 22nd, 2018, and I decided I wanted to try to do a little bit of grinding this afternoon. Not something I'm looking forward to at all, but figured why not go ahead and get done, try to get a little bit of it done, I guess, because right now it's kind of overcast, it's not blazing hot, and I had a few hours off this afternoon. So I got all my PPE back here behind me. I'm gonna get ready to get suited up. We got a Tyvek suit, some goggles, respirator, gloves, ear protection, and then there's the flap disc there on the grinder that I'm going to be using. But you guys, if you're going to do this stuff, you really got to take safety seriously, because this stuff will definitely not good for you if you get it in your lungs, in your eyes, and even on your skin, and it's itchy. So you don't want to do that. So you got to definitely get the right gear for this stuff. So anyways, I'm gonna get suited up, and probably not gonna film it because the dust is gonna be going everywhere, and I don't want to get my phone screwed up with fiberglass dust. Maybe when I'm grinding some of the stringers down and I have a little more room, I'm not like under here, maybe I'll film it, but right now you're just gonna be looking at the back side of me if I try to film, so I don't think anybody wants that. So anyways, let me get this going here. Alright guys, well, I just finished. Well, I didn't finish, but I got quite a bit of grinding done on the transom. You can see, even with the Tyvek suit, my full face goggles, and my respirator, this fiberglass dust gets everywhere. You have to wear your safety gear. You will not be happy and not be healthy otherwise. But anyways, I did get a lot of the transom ground down. There's still kind of the old tabbing lip around the exterior or the perimeter of the transom, or where the transom was, that I need to grind down or cut off. I think it'll be easier for me to try to cut a little bit more of it off with my cut-off wheel. I got kind of the bottom part of it ground down a little bit, and I got to figure out what to do with the drain hole area, because it's like really thick right in there, and I think there might be still some wood in there, so I'm gonna have to probably chip at it a little bit more and try to do that instead of trying to grind through all of it. Those flap discs that I got at Harbor Freight, I think they were 40 grit, 36 grit, 40 grit, something like that. They worked pretty well. Cut through the fiberglass and the resin pretty well. I didn't want to grind down too much and make the outer skin thin, and I am gonna have to build it up a little bit in a few areas with some chop strand mat, some CSM. And then I'm planning on laying a whole layer of CSM over the inside of the outer skin first before I glue my transom wood in, just to seal it all up nice. And then probably have to go on the outside of the boat of the transom and patch in a little bit of CSM in a few areas where the holes are, where I'm gonna not have holes and that kind of thing. So I don't know if you can see the boat here. And that was just for a couple hours of grinding. It's all the way in the back. My phone was in the cabin and it got dust all over it. And there's the inside down there. So just tons and tons of dust. I'm gonna take the hose and wash all this crap out. Hey guys, I've got a little bit of time off before I have to go to work this afternoon, so I thought I'd come out here and do a little more work on the boat. I actually got quite a bit of grinding done yesterday, but there's still some more to do, and I ran into kind of a weird issue that I've never seen before, and so just kind of wanted to make a video real quick and show you guys what I'm up against. Okay, so like I said, I got quite a bit of grinding done. I think I've made a video clip on this part, I'm not sure, but anyways, I got most of the inside of the inner skin down, skin of the transom ground down, and I started working on the edges there, as you can see, and got a pretty wide path down through here in front of the transom ground down. But you see this lip here, right toward the back of the transom? Well, this chunk of fiberglass and resin and crap used to extend all the way to the back of the transom skin pretty much, and all the way across here. And I started grinding a little bit of it down and realized that it was just kind of chipping up, and I started pulling big sections of it up, and you can see I actually went through the hole right there. But let me show you some of the old pieces here. This is what I pulled up, and you can see it looks like just dry fiberglass. Okay, this stuff wasn't bonded to the hull anymore. I don't know if it was once part of the hull or if it was something that somebody added at some point, but all this stuff was just dry and delaminated, and it didn't even look like it had any resin in it to start with, almost, except for a little bit of on the a little bit of like skin on the top. So this stuff actually had like moisture and mud and gunk and crap underneath it. So all I had to do was basically take a screwdriver and tap on it a little bit and get it up underneath the edge of a piece, and I could just rip the whole piece up. That's not what you want to see in a boat, and that's not what you want to bond new fiberglass to when you're trying to tab in the transom. So, you know, regardless of whether it was part of the hull or not at one time, all that crap had to come out. And I'm not sure how far it extends up here, you know, because as you can see, there's still a huge lip there. So I don't know at what point it starts to kind of delaminate. I ground a little bit down right in here towards where this stringer was, and it looks to be a little bit better. Looks like it's still, you know, bonded and had plenty of resin in it. But this crap had to go, you know. So that was what I was dealing with yesterday. Kind of got me a little discouraged, but it looks pretty good right now. I got down to some clean glass, and I'm planning on putting in you know, some layers of glass down over this area to make it real thick and strong again. But there's no way you can bond to this crap when it's just peeling up and it's got moisture underneath it. I mean, that crap is just dry fiberglass. So anyways, it was weird, but I was thinking about doing a little bit of resin work today, trying to fill up some of those holes, but just looking at it, I realized I need to grind them down a little more, kind of bevel them out, because you want to have like a little bit of a recess, low spot in all, you know, where you're gonna lay some glass down and cover those holes up, so you get a nice bond and you don't create high spots, so that you have a nice flat skin to lay your transom wood on. So I guess I'll get suited up and try to do a little more grinding. I'm kind of wearing my grinding discs down, so I might have to get some more of those before I can finish, but let's see what I can get done today.